What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Zetro's Toxic Vault. And today I have a very special guest, a very good friend of mine. Her name is Shayna DeBauer. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm swell. How are you?
Glad to have you in the vault. You know,
Thanks.
you're the first one that's ever intimidated that fucking spider.
I mean, I kind of thought he was asking for it.
I guess. The first one I've ever seen him back up. Amazing. Anyway, Shayna does something really special. And like I said, in the vault, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. And she is the owner, proprietor, manufacturer, seller, and everything of a company called Six Soaps. And I love Six Soaps. And it's like horror-themed soaps of any kind of sick and twisted fucking thing you can think of. So good to have you in the vault, Shayna. Tell us a little bit about your soap and your soap company.
Well,
When did you start?
I started, I guess, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, sort of by accident. Actually, I found these little plastic zombies that I thought would be fun to put into a clear bar of soap with some blood around it. And I sent it with some people to the church's White Elephant gift exchange. And then everybody was trying to figure out which package had come from the weird DeBoer girl, and it just kind of went from there. So.
And how did that go over for the White Elephant?
Well, the pastor ended up with the soap, and he thought it was very creative. It wasn't bad. He liked it.
Amazing. So you have quite, you've almost touched on so many of my favorite horror movies. How did you, get the idea of starting to do it for yourself and do it as a business?
Well, people wanted me to make soaps for them to bring to, do for party favors or birthday presents or whatever. And when I figured out that people actually wanted to pay me for these things, that was kind of went from there.
I guess that's always good, is when you're going to get paid.
Yeah, it's better than working for sure.
And so what were your first soaps that you started making? What was the images that you put in? Can you remember?
I did. Well, so the little zombie plastic toy was the very first one I did. And then I think I just kept looking for little toys that were small enough and non-impale-y when you use the soap. So if it's too rigid, I didn't want people to impale themselves on the soap. So it was just little bugs and random things like that. And then someone suggested, and mind you, when I started doing this, I had never heard of or seen horror-inspired body products of any kind.
No, this is definitely the first time I've ever seen soap like this ever. And I loved it. The minute I saw it, I thought it was such a great idea. And so I guess at first there was plastic toys in the soap, but you've created kind of like a sculpture to where the soap, the image inside now melts away with the soap. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So someone suggested that I try to do that to make the item inside made out of soap too, so it wouldn't be scratchy when you're using it. And I said, that sounds like a lot of work, and I'm not even sure that's possible, and you're stupid, and stop telling me ideas. And so after I messed up a lot of soap, I have figured out how to do it almost exclusively without screwing up, but I do have a little box of messed up ones that I keep to use for myself.
So prototypes of anything, prototypes of anything that you go through.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you from the sculpting stage before you kind of actually had an idea of okay, this is how I do it when I want an image done? This is what I do to create it and make it happen.
Well, sadly, I don't actually have any artistic talent, so I can't sculpt myself. So I work with a lot of different sculptors and people who can do 3D printing to design it for me.
You can tell everybody who you work with if they don't mind.
So my friend Topher, who runs I'm a Foolish Mortal, has done a couple of the designs that are out here, and little corpse magnets. I have some of his stuff. Dulce Calaveritas, I have some of her stuff. So I contact the sculptors and tell them I love their stuff and can I please soap their designs. So none of these were ripped off without their knowing about it. So, but I work with them, and either I get the molds from them or I get Prince Veda FX just provided me with the new Halloween 3 masks that I have.
Oh, wow.
So I had to mold those myself. So some of the molds I do myself, some of them I can buy.
How long is the process? What does it take to actually make one of these bars of soap? So say this one has... is that an octopus?
That is Cthulhu.
Oh, Cthulhu, yeah.
That one's not too hard. The little embed is only 2 steps on him. So that one's not too hard. Some of them are quite tedious. I do a new Chucky that the original design was little corpse magnets, and that one takes me forever to do. There's a Mystic Seer out here that's pretty hard to do because his little eyebrows and things are hard to paint on.
Yeah, go ahead and hold them up.
Those little... Doesn't look like much, but I can't take just... it's not like just taking a Sharpie and drawing it on there or painting. Like, I have to drag liquid soap where I want it to get the colors where I want. So it's not as simple as just painting it where I want. There's some of them... This one's actually quite a few steps. It's the Wolfman, and he has blood dripping down his chin.
How lengthy could be the process? I mean, how many steps could it take to reach, like, you know, I noticed there's a black nose on there. And there's red around his mouth, and then the hair is brown, and there's blood in the backside. So what's the process? How long does that take?
Yeah, well, there's like a wait in between steps. So this one's 1, 2, 3, 4 steps for the embed, which is not the most and not the least that I do. But the Crypt Keeper is actually super tedious because he's got the eyeballs are different colors, his teeth are different colors, and it's really, I use a toothpick actually as my weapon of choice when I'm doing the detail on these. I actually go through a tremendous lot of toothpicks.
So now when you're making a batch, do you make like 30 Crypt Keepers at once or even more? I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah, I try to. Actually, for some of them, I only have one mold. So I do just the initial make of him, just like that yucky flesh tone, and I line up a bunch of those. And then when I have several of those made, then I go and start doing the eyeballs or the teeth or, you know, so it's actually for him, I have to, in the mold, I have to put with a toothpick the yellow for his teeth before I can do the whole rest of the pour. So I can't crank out 50 of him in a day like I can with some of the other ones.
So you have to wait for like a drying period or setting period? Mm-hmm. Wow. So say, how many bars of soap can you manufacture in a day? What's it possible to?
Well, it's I don't know, because I know that that's something I should be able to answer from like a business standpoint, but it really depends. Usually I have a few days where I'm building up enormous piles of the embeds, which are the little guys that are inside.
Right.
So once I have a few stacks of those and they have to be, you know, get the black wash or the painting, whatever, I get all of those ready and then I can start banging out the bars.
And you have so many different styles of the embeds. Is that a different sculpt for every one of them? Is there has to be a mold made for every single one of them?
Yeah, so I have about 8 trillion molds.
I was going to say, man, you have so many different varieties and you represent so many different great horror movies, and it smells absolutely amazing. And I know when people get this soap, they're like, oh, I want to display it, I don't want to use it. And I know you're always like, no, use this, and it smells so good. So I take your word for it. And everybody I've ever given it to, I remember I brought it to the Creature Feature staff and they loved it. They were like, oh, it smells and it's so good. So
yeah, I mean, it is just soap, and people, I don't know, I think it's kind of silly to get fussy about using your fancy soap, but whenever possible, I try to put the design like as close to the center of the bar as I can, so that when you're using it, you don't fuck up the inside design until the very last sliver. I have a sliver that I'm almost through for the Creature from the Black Lagoon in my shower, and it's a sliver, and you can still see his whole face.
Really?
Actually, yeah. So that's what I go for. It's not always possible because sometimes the embeds basically fill the whole bar, but whenever I can, I make it so they'll look exactly how they look when you buy them for as long as possible.
So I know you're old school horror. You're just like me. We have that bond together. We've gone and seen some, me, you, and your significant other. He's a horror guy as well, and we've gone and seen many different horror movies and plays. Which ones are your favorites to set? Which ones do you like to do? You look forward to doing?
I really like doing, I like to do the Crypt Keeper. He's a ton of work, so he's not like this is not how you make money selling soap, right? Because he's a tremendous lot of work, but this torso zombie is one of my favorites. She is, because I have a love for the torso lady from Return of the Living Dead, and this is one of Little Corpse Magnet's designs too. But I love a good torso zombie. So, and she's not that hard to do. I have to hand paint the hair and do the black wash, but generally speaking, she's pretty easy to do.
And you go to different conventions and stuff like that. Earthquake.
Those bugs, I know.
It's the bugs.
Yes, I do.
You go to a bunch of different conventions and you sell your wares at different Comic-Cons. You were just at Monster Palooza. Talk about Monster Palooza.
Monsterpalooza is one of my favorite shows. It was my favorite show to attend before I was selling. So now I don't actually get to see anything except for whatever's between my booth and the bathroom, running back and forth. But
Because it's so busy. Because
it's tremendously busy, and because
I
there's
think we have some pictures of that we're going to throw up right now from that.
oh good, okay, but it's very busy. Like there's like crowds in front of your table where people have to come back a few times just to try to get to the table.
Wow.
And I'm throwing soaps over the top of people so they
Oh,
can check
nice.
them out back there. So
Wow, like you're serving popcorn at about peanuts at a baseball game. Over here, peanuts of a hot dog over here.
yeah, but it's fun. I know the neighbors usually are giggling most of the weekend because they get to hear terrible sentences that I'm saying to people, like inviting them to smell my fetus or squish the fetus or
I love
sniff my
that.
bloody
It's all good
tampon
for
or,
me.
so it's fun for the neighbors.
And you have so many different stuff. I mean, we got body parts right here. And
Ah, yes. Strawberries and champagne. Take a sniff.
it's like,
Severed ear and finger. So I can ask people, do they want to
does
smell
have
my
s-
finger? And
I love that. That's great.
of course, it smells yummy.
Tell
yeah.
everybody where you can get your stuff at.
I sell on Etsy. It's just sixsoaps.etsy.com. And I do put a lot of stuff just straight on Instagram, which is just on Six Soaps on Instagram. And that's where I warn you what town I'm going to be in and what shows I'm going to have my stuff at.
So you're hearing that, Six Soaps, and spell it for everybody.
SICK SOAPS.
SICC for all you illiterate out there. Six Soaps. Haha, just making fun of everybody. Where else are we going to see you
Everyone.
this year at? Do you have anything lined up? Show-wise.
I do. Let me see. Where are we? We're April. So actually, May 4th is Free Comic Book Day. In case you don't know that, the comic book shops all over the place give out free comics.
That's right.
So I will be at Green Machine Comics in Newark at New Park Mall on May 4th. And then there's a lot of actually, I'm doing some shows locally, which I don't always get to do. I'm always driving down to LA. So I'll be at the Bazaar Summer Bazaar and the Port Costa Flea Market. And I'll be at the Harvest Festivals, and there's a lot of
just
stuff
go to her
this year.
Instagram, check out Six Soaps, find out where she's is. Are you guys going to be at CreatureCon? I'm going to be doing CreatureCon
I will,
this year.
that'll be fun.
I am doing
Maybe we can
CreatureCon,
request
yeah.
to be neighbors. Yeah,
Yes,
Creatures
yeah.
Con is in
July.
June. Is it July?
Yes, I think it's the weekend
So
after
unorganized.
the 4th of July, so
Is it?
I kind of know that one. Yeah, I kind of know my schedule right now.
Okay, good. Well, just
My
make sure I'm
ripping
there.
Schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a fun show too. So yeah, we'll be at Creatures
Yeah,
Con.
that's where I seen you guys last year selling stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is fun. So yeah, I'm going to be a part of it this year. So
Oh, good.
we'll do a whole episode like that. But thanks for coming in to the vault. Good. We'll have you again. Would you come in again? It's kind of cool, huh?
It's creepy. It's a little
It's
creepy in
We
here, but
want
I do like
creepy.
it. There's lots of good
That's
stuff
what we
to look
like.
at.
Yeah, lots of eye candy. You guys leave me comments. Tell me what you know, what you think about her stuff, if you've been using her products, and definitely subscribe to my channel. And remember, come into the vault. Horns up, fuckers. Oh, there's that damn spider again.